Hello, I'm Karina Bradshaw and I'm the Subject Librarian for the Department of Biology and Biochemistry at the University of Bath. You will be provided with recommended reading as part of this course, but this brief video is aimed at those wishing to find authoritative or scholarly sources to supplement their learning. This is of particular relevance for topics relating to health where it's important to use reliable information. In the next few minutes, we'll look at different types of information and how to find it, how to get the best out of your search tool with demonstrations of some search tools, and what to look for to assess the quality of what you find. As many of you know, books are a good place to gain understanding about a subject, but it can be difficult to identify which titles to use. You may not be aware that university libraries contain books selected to support academic teaching and research for their institution, and can be a good place to start. You can search university library collections using search tools called catalogues, and you can find a listing of national and international library catalogues from the University of Bath webpage. To obtain a copy of a book, try your local public or university library if you've access. Alternatively, you may be able to find a second-hand copy from an online bookseller, or it may be available online. Because a book can take time to publish, its content may not be as current as other sources. This is where it's helpful to consider using journal articles. Journal articles are the output of research written by and for researchers. They can be highly specialised and often require some subject knowledge to read them. Before they're published, articles undergo something called a peer review process. This means they're checked by other experts in their field, which can act as a quality check. They provide lists of references of their sources which you can follow up, and articles are collected into journals which are published regularly and can provide more current information about a topic. There are dedicated search tools which store references to millions of articles which you can search. Google Scholar can be a good place to start, but there are also other free subject-specific search tools. PubMed, for example, includes a resource called Medline, which contains references from more than 5,000 biomedical journals, and I'll briefly demonstrate this later. While some articles are freely available, many require payment. If you have access to a public or university library, it is worth trying these first. Also, do be aware some search tools allow you to restrict your search to just freely available content. Websites can also be good places to find information, but many are not reviewed and can be written by anybody regardless of their expertise. Therefore, these require your time to assess their reliability. I'll be providing further tips about evaluating the quality of what you find at the end of this video. When looking at websites, it's worth considering the domain name, which can provide clues about the organisation behind the site. Here are some examples of domain names you will come across as you search. Of course, the website address lets you know who has provided the information. Before I search a couple of the resources I've mentioned, here are some tips to help you search effectively. It's always worth looking for the help options within the search tools. Begin by searching for specific information and broaden the search if you don't find enough. Some search tools respond better to keyword searches and require you to think about the concepts of your search. For example, if you're interested in how to treat skin cancer, use the keywords treatments and the phrase skin cancer. It's worth thinking about alternative terms. For example, treatment can be described as a therapy, cancer as neoplasm or tumour, and do bear in mind American or English spellings. I'm now going to search for information about cancer therapies, which you will be learning more about later in the course. I'll begin by using PubMed to search for journal articles. I'm interested in journal articles about immunotherapy and skin cancer. PubMed responds well to keyword searching, so I've entered these keywords into the search box and we'll click search. Here you'll see it's returned a lot of results, but there are ways of narrowing your results set down. On the left-hand side, you see it's possible to limit by articles related to humans, which I'll do. I can also look at articles published just within the last 5 years. You'll notice the option to simply look at free full text articles. These are articles which are available freely within your results set. For those wishing to carry out comprehensive searches, just be aware that this may exclude useful articles. And at the top of the screen is an option to limit according to article types. I'm interested in review articles. Review articles are written by researchers summarising all research about a topic. And if they've been written on your topic, it can be a good place to get an overview. They provide lots of references, which can provide you with links to other useful articles. You can now see that this has narrowed my results set down considerably. I wanted to point out that the freely available full-text articles have been highlighted very helpfully by PubMed, and that you see these are provided in a service called PubMed Central, which also provides links to other free resources, including electronic books. It's also worth bearing in mind that you can sort your results according to different categories. There's a lot of information provided on this results page, so do explore it. For those of you who aren't familiar with how to interpret a journal article reference, I'll quickly point out what this means. The link represents the article title, below that are the authors, and below that is the journal that the article has been published in, the date, followed by volume numbers and part numbers, and then the final 2 numbers are page numbers. The link will take you through to another screen providing you with a summary of the article if that's available, and from there you should be able to find a link to the full article. Again, you may be prompted for payment. This is a very brief summary of how to carry out a simple search within PubMed. You can find further help from their homepage, which I can return to via their PubMed icon in the top left corner. From here you'll find a wealth of information, including tutorials, which I want to take a look at. For those wishing to carry out more comprehensive searches, I'd like to point out this tutorial about how to use MESH to build a better PubMed query. MESH is an acronym for Medical Subject Headings. These are subject headings which are assigned to the majority of articles by individuals working for the US National Library of Medicine. The headings are systematically selected from a reputable thesaurus, and they can often help retrieve a more targeted set of results and remove the need to enter multiple terms to describe the same concept. For example, PubMed uses the MESH heading neoplasms to describe cancer and other variant terms of cancer. There's a lot of information available from this site, so do take time to explore it. For the next search, I'm going to show you the advanced search options within Google. You'll find the advanced search from the settings option at the bottom right hand side of the screen, which I'll select now. It's worth being aware that Google personalizes searches based on your location, your past search history, and past browsing activity, and the country version of Google gives priority to that country's local content. You'll notice that Google offers different features to help with your searching. So I'm interested in web pages about therapeutic antibodies in the treatment of skin cancer, which I can type as a phrase. I followed the guidance that Google has given to put the exact words in quotes. What that will do is we'll find those terms next to each other and in that order in the web page. Towards the bottom of the screen you'll find further features to refine your search. I can restrict by site or domain, date, or even where the terms appear on the web page. It's possible to be very precise about searching. If this is of interest, go to Google's help information about search operators. It is important to evaluate the information you find, particularly with websites. I'm now going to briefly show you what to look for in a website. The main question I have is whether the information is trustworthy, and to answer this I need to consider various factors. The first being who has provided the information. To find more about the organisation behind the site, it's always worth digging around a little bit. Look for the About section, and you can see there isn't a section at the top of the screen. I'd like to know whether this information is reliable, which sources have been used to provide this information. If there are references giving evidence of the sources, these should be at the bottom of the web page. So I'm going to have a look there now. There aren't any references. There is a date telling me when the page was last reviewed and when it will next be reviewed, which is reassuring to know that the information will be kept up to date. Although there aren't references or a named author, which sometimes appears at the bottom of the page, there is this quality mark, the information standard. I'm curious to know what this means. And here you can see it clearly states these have been certified as producers of reliable health and social care information. With this in mind, I'm reassured that this information can be trusted. To evaluate the information you find, consider the following. Is the information relevant, pitched at the right level for you or what's needed for? Is it authoritative? Who's written it? What are their credentials? Is it reliable? Which sources have been used? What's the aim of the information? And is there a date given when the information was published or last updated? This concludes the video, but here are some final points to bear in mind. Keep refining your search to get what you want, and do use other sources to back up the information you find. There is a guide listing some unrestricted resources on the internet. This covers all subject areas. Good luck with your searching, and finally, enjoy the course.